This is the 217 Recovery Podcast with Corey Winfield.
That was kind of a funny voice recording there. Yeah, you do kind of have a radio voice, don't you? Anyway, this is Dan calling. Talk to you when I talk to you. Later, bye.
I never talked to him again. I never talked to Dan, not one more again. It's the 5th of November, 2020. This is the 217 Recovery Podcast. My name is Corey Winfield. In the studio, once again, co-host Marnie Liston. Marnie, welcome to the show.
What's up?
Just talking to somebody the other day. They're like, how come Marnie doesn't have her name in the open? It's like, well, that's a long story. I don't really want to tell it either. So, but you will.
Yes.
You will. Hopefully very soon.
Right.
Maybe December 5th.
We're shooting for it.
Yeah. Praying about it. So hopefully that'll happen. Can't wait. And once, then we'll talk about it. But right now we can't really, and it's just no fun to talk about it either. So we're going to move on. I did get a call today from a woman with some good news, hopefully. And I don't know. I mean, I hope it went well. Sometimes when I get caught off guard and have to talk about things, I mean, I can do it, but I get flustered and there's so many things I want to mention. And to me, there's so many things that are important and it's just, that's how it sounds. I sound like Chris Goss back in the day. And I don't know. And then that's just like, oh, well. But she pointed out to me that my voicemail was full. And another friend of mine pointed out that the other day as well. And I'm like, all right, well, I don't understand because I deleted a bunch of them today. Well, if you have an Apple, if you have an iPhone, go to your voicemail. And I had like 140 of them. Scroll to the very bottom. Because after you delete them, then you got to delete them again. So there's a deleted and a blocked messages thing. So they got to empty those, which I did. But I didn't know like people that you block can still leave you voicemails.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ryan Beckman left me 2 of them from May 25th.
Oh.
They're like 4 minutes long each. So one day I'll listen to those, but I was too busy. So I did, though, go through, I mean, and this was from 2-3 years ago I had voicemails that I haven't even listened to. It's kind of bad.
It's like blast from the past.
Yeah, sorry, Ed. See, Ed's only waited 3 months, and I still haven't called him back. But sorry, Ed. But, like, I don't know. It really was a blast from the past. And going through some of them, and I was going to play some of them on the show today, but then it's just like, I don't know. There's really kind of too many of them, sort of, but not really. Let me see. Let me see if I can, while we're recording, and see if I can edit the hotkey buttons. Let's see. Because there's one that I was like, oh, man, I should probably play that one. And, I mean, there was kind of like, there's a bunch of them that were kind of like that, really. But it brought me back to some places, and not really bad places, but just like, oh my gosh, like that was so crazy. Like, I don't remember that, or sometimes when I would remember. But here's a voicemail that I got too.
Hello, this call is for Corey Winfield. This is Attorney Paul Jancha Jr. calling. I'm appointed to represent you on a case coming up in the Niles trial court set for December 18th at 1 o'clock. So please give me a call back. Thank you. Bye.
Yay.
Yeah. Yeah, I went to jail that day for a week, and not even like a real, like, well, they say a jail week or whatever the term is. Like you do 7 days, really do 6. No, I did all 7 because I got out on Christmas Eve.
Oh, man.
Of 2018. And
so you had good reason not to get that voicemail.
I
mean, not till years later, but I mean, I'm just talking about that current day. If you were currently otherwise engaged,
yeah, I don't
with
know
the
what
legal
I was doing
system
that day, because I don't know when he called and when that was. Well, actually, I do because it's in my phone, unless I deleted it. But yeah, I don't know if that's because I went to jail and then I got out and then I drank and it's a really bad relapse, and then my first day sober was the 15th. Mm-hmm. You know, it was my sober day. I was in the hospital. It sucked. And the cops had taken me there, and they were going to take me to jail. And then the doctor was like, are you going to wait all night with him handcuffed to the bed? Because it's going to take a while for that alcohol to get out of the system. He was like a 0.4 whatever, or 0.548 or 3 or whatever. So the cop's like, oh my God, I've never seen anybody so drunk before.
Goodness
and she's
gracious.
just looking at me like, how are you even talking? And I'm like, what do you mean?
And these are not things to brag about, people. This is just sad.
Yeah, oh, no, it was hell, man. Like, I was hurting for sure. And, just being handcuffed to the bed and the doctor telling him that. And she's like, well, he's got court coming up, so he can deal with that then. We'll deal with him then, which they did. Judge Lasada was like, all right, well, I'll give you 7 days. Damn it. But like I said, it was out right before Christmas Eve, and they slapped a alcohol tether bracelet thing on me, and until I could come back for sentencing or something else. I don't remember exactly. Mm-hmm. But I had to go back again, and that's when I got it off, and then did the probation. I think that was January 7th, I think, or 8th, and that's when I went up to the treatment center in northern Michigan, and was like, oh. So, yeah. But it was crazy. But stuff like that, really was just like, oh my gosh. And I had a couple of messages from my cousin Melody, who, well, I guess since we realized I can play them, let's just play them. But Melody, we've been kind of close, since we were kids. She's just, I think, a year younger than I am. So, we're always kind of close in age. So, we would always raise hell together and do stuff like that. And when she could tell I was having a hard time, she would reach out to me. And here's one from her.
Hey, Corey. I was just calling to check on you. It's Melody. All right, love you. Bye.
It's just stuff like that. It's like, oh my gosh, like, what did I put, cousins through? And sometimes, when's the last time that I thought about my cousin Melody and when she was looking after me and checking in on me and taking me to the hospital? It's been a long time since I thought about that, and I think about the people that, my immediate family that I hurt, like my mother and stepfather and stuff like that. But it's hard to kind of put everybody you hurt in your brain 24/7. So, it's kind of a really good reminder, that I can look back and just go, oh, yeah, she was kind of dragged into it as well. But not all of them were really that bad, though. Here's one that I'll play, and I bleeped this guy's name out. I don't know why. If someone calls me and leaves a voicemail, then that voicemail is now property of me. But here's what he called. And this was like, not summer 2020, but this was like probably, I think it was May or June of 2019.
Hey, Corey, this is. I met you at the Guiding Light way back when you were hanging around there last year. I'm kind of in a predicament looking for a place to stay. You can reach me at this number in Grand Rapids. Thank you, Corey.
And that guy I still talk to. I think that dude's a trip. And we'd started the podcast. And, yeah, I was at Guiding Light in Grand Rapids. I was going to go do their little program, and it just wasn't for me. But I met Marcel. See, Guiding Light in Grand Rapids had a back-to-work program. And if people were homeless, they could go there, and they would give, I don't remember exactly, like 70 or 80% of their paycheck to the Guiding Light. And they would just hold it. Mm-hmm. You could stay there for 90 days. And at the end of the 90 days, they go, boom, here's all your money back. Mm-hmm. So, you leave with some good chunk of change. But, a lot of homeless people up there, well, when you go back to, or when you go, at least at this time, when I went there, when you go to their rehab program, it's like in the back of this building. But to prove that you want it, they make you like sit up front and like clean up after the back to work program guys. And it's not fun. The chairs aren't comfortable. It's just, there's nothing to do. You can't leave. Mm-hmm. And you can't go to sleep. You have to be out doing something like reading the big book, or I don't know. It was kind of like a lot of downtime and boring. But I met Marcel. He was doing the back to work program, or met that guy, whoever it was, mm-hmm. and he was doing the back to work program. And I really liked him, man. And we kind of hit it off. And this other guy, Rick, was there too. And Rick we became friends on Facebook too after I left, and he noticed that 217 Recovery, it started and what we were doing with the podcast, and he reached out to me and was like, "Hey man, we listen to your podcast, I think it's great, and our buddy here is kind of having a hard time, and he needs some help, and is there anything that you can recommend?" And then he ended up coming to stay at the sober living house that I did at Nathan's house in Boyne City. So it was crazy. And the first dinner we had at the house, because you have like house meetings once a week, you're aware of those, but we would make dinner for each other, and he was in there, and I just was sitting there thinking, wow. And that was kind of when I was really putting the whole everything happens for a reason thing together. And it's like, if I didn't go there, maybe me going there had nothing to do with me. I mean, yeah, sure, I learned some things from there, but maybe it was to meet him.
Absolutely.
Maybe God had that in his plan to meet me and Rick, the guy that was the middleman here with getting him up in northern Michigan. And last time I knew, Marcel was doing great, and he's a funny guy. He really is, and I like him a lot. So, voicemails like that would pop up through there, and then I saw ones that I missed, which, I mean, this is crazy, but I've always wanted to live in northern Michigan. And I grew up in southern Michigan, southwest Michigan, in Coloma, near Benton Harbor. And I don't know why. I've lived in Texas, I've lived in Arkansas, and I came back home to Michigan. But I still, I always wanted to live up here. And when I kind of was very unsure of what I wanted to do, I knew that I wanted to help people, because that's kind of what we all do in early recovery. But I really wanted to, and I felt good, and it's natural. We feel good. It's just a fact. When you help other people, you feel good.
Right.
You create the dopamine in your brain, the serotonin or whatever, and you feel good. That's a fact. So, but I didn't know if I want to sit in the room and listen to people all day. I didn't know. So I thought about, maybe I can still do radio. Now, the thing about radio, if I did radio, I'd have to move. And where would I move to? I'd been in radio for 20 years. I knew where I didn't want to go. I'd been to a big market, worked in Dallas. I didn't really want to do that again. It just was, it wasn't what I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be awesome. And it was, no, still a little room, and I'm in it and talking, and you get paid more, but it costs living's more. And it's just concerts are a little closer. I don't know. It wasn't what I thought it would be. And so I don't want to do that, but I don't want to live in a very small either. And I don't know, I just started thinking okay, where are some places? And I had a list of 3 or 4 cities, but Traverse City in northern Michigan in general, that was one area that, yeah, I would go work in radio again. So I started sending my demo out to the radio stations in Petoskey and Traverse City. And I talked to a guy, I think it was Black Diamond at the time, which would have been late September, early October 2018. And then my OWI and all the legal problems, that happened at the end of this month, end of November. So, I mean, that's kind of how close it was. And, I found some voicemails from that, and some that I didn't listen to. I had one from some guy from New York. And he's like, "Hey, I've been trying to get a hold of you. I've sent you a few emails. I haven't seen any reply. I was just wondering, blah, blah, blah." And I was like, good Lord, what was I doing? And then another one, it was Petoskey. And I'm like, who did I know there? And I hit it, and it was the owner of Garber Broadcasting in Petoskey. Apparently, I sent her my demo, and she was like, "Hey, I really want to talk to you," blah, 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 but I never even got it. I don't know if I was on a bender. I'm not sure. I don't remember.
Right.
But I had never played the voicemail, so it's kind of And then it's just crazy, because the people that I did talk to about the station here in Traverse City had a morning show. A guy that was so bad, I was like, I'm not going to work with that dude. They're like, "Well, we really need you to kind of reel him in, make him good." I'm like, you can't polish a turd, that's going to be more stress for me. That's something I don't need. and had a huge ego. Still probably do a little bit, but like I didn't want to work with that guy. And